Hey guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the new Lanterns show and some other updates in regards to the DCEU, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, when that is filming, and lots more. So if you do go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos later this year. Okay, so we're going to get into this. We got lots to talk about today. I haven't done one of these videos in maybe 2 weeks or so you're going to want to stick around throughout this entire video as we update you about all the latest updates in regards to the DCU in TV and also the films. So first things first, let's break down what James Gunn had to say on Threads recently, because a fan asked him in regards to the Lantern series and what is going on with that. They actually asked what happened to the original Lantern series that was being developed in the DCEU. It was in development for so long with an amazing cast. Finn Wittrock was involved in the project too. Would you consider casting him in another role in the DCU? Feel like he was done dirty. He's such a good actor! ! So James promptly replied to this. I didn't think it was in the DCEU, but it was before my time. So that said, I think Finn's a talented guy and he'll be okay. Writers, directors, actors have projects fall through every day. We've all had it happen many times. It's not being done dirty, it's part of the job. So obviously that's just James's opinion on the way that Hollywood goes in terms of these projects obviously falling through the cracks. But the Lanterns show that was originally being developed by Greg Berlanti. Most of you guys know Greg Berlanti as kind of like the architect of the Arrowverse. He was in the process of developing that project for a long time and it was going to be a TV show. But then when it was announced that Lanterns would be added to the DCU, it was officially announced that that old project was now scrapped. So that version with Finn Wittrock, who had been previously cast to play the role of one of the Green Lanterns in that Green Lantern show. I don't think it was called Lanterns originally, but now it's called Lanterns, that is the DCU show. So that wasn't supposed to be in the DCU as far as James Gunn is concerned, but like he said, it was before his time, and I think that project was already done and dusted, and it just hadn't been like fully announced by the time that James took over and obviously DC Studios became a thing. So I don't think they were done dirty. I think that project just wasn't the priority of DC at the time, but also maybe it wasn't a priority of Greg Berlanti. I mean, he was very busy doing the Arrowverse shows and obviously directing his own films like Love, Simon. He's got a new film coming out. So with his production company, I guess they just probably had other priorities at the time, and it just wasn't a big thing back then. Like, Green Lantern flopped, you have to realize that. And since that Ryan Reynolds film, all we've had is just speculation about these projects and about Green Lantern showing up. Like, we've never had a live action Green Lantern since in a major role. Yes, we've seen them in the original Justice League cut. Yes, that was just like a small cameo, and there was hints in the Arrowverse, obviously around Crisis on Infinite Earths with John Diggle, but that never came to full fruition. So yeah, that's my breakdown of that first question. Let's move on. So DCU updates asked James Gunn, any update on Lanterns? And James just replied with a dancing emoji. You can interpret that answer as you will, but I'm going to say a dancing emoji probably means, yeah, things are moving along, things are kind of dancing along. So I'm just taking this to be a good sign that things are actually moving and it's not, you know, a stale project. It's not something that's going to come super far down the line. I think it's going to be one of the earlier DCU projects. So yeah, that's the update from James Gunn as of right now. And next up, Home of DCU asked James Gunn, blink twice if a production other than Superman or Peacemaker are getting ready to film. James replied with this funny blinking gif, and obviously that's just James making fun of all these questions because he's getting asked this all the time. But I think you can infer from just the response and what we've heard over the course of like the last 6 months or so that clearly there is going to be other projects that are going to be getting ready to film very soon. I think one of those projects, as previously talked about, is definitely Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, because Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is one of the major projects that has got a screenplay finished, and we know the writer has moved on to Teen Titans now, and so I think with all of that you can probably infer there's going to be some projects that are nearing ready to start. Yes, it would be great if Lanterns could start, but I think Lanterns is going to be more like next year if I'm going to take a guess. I don't think Lanterns going to start this year. I think there is a high chance Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, is going to be the project that could start next. Like, I'm talking post-Superman, post-Peacemaker, towards the end of the year, maybe like September, October time, would be a pretty good guess as to when Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow could start. Again, it seems they've got their director, it seems the screenplay is done, so things are kind of at a really good stage in terms of pre-production, and they'll have to, you know, get the rest of the crew together, which I presume they're doing sometime around now or in the near future, because, yeah, I think they are going to get going with that, because I think they've realized, okay, we can't just rely on what James is doing, we need to get these other productions into actual production to be efficient. But staying on topic, talking about Supergirl, talking about Millie Alcock's Supergirl, who's going to appear in Superman first and then Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow next. We have a question from someone called Andy on Threads asking James Gunn, has Millie Alcock met the Superman cast? ? James replied, not that I know of, full stop, and that's it. So, you know, that's a obvious question. I don't think James would reply to that. But yeah, I think if Millie's going to show up in this film, doesn't mean she's going to be, you know, at the table reads, on set all the time. Like, her role is definitely going to be limited. I think it's going to be more like a glorified cameo just to kind of set up Supergirl. And so it wouldn't surprise me if she hasn't met any of them yet. I presume she's talked to James Gunn, she's talked to probably the director of the film, Craig Giuseppe, because James and Peter Safran played a big part in her actually being cast. That's as far as I know. But to conclude this Supergirl segment, I don't think we're going to see her on set anytime soon, because I believe Superman is supposed to finish filming around July time, and right now we're in April heading into May. So that's a fair bit down the line. Now, you might see at some point Millie Alcock, you know, flies into Atlanta where they're going to be shooting, and whatever location Superman ends up going to. I don't know all the ins and outs of the film and where they're filming, but you could see a coincidence, quote unquote, that she is in the same location at the same time, but we don't actually get a look at her Supergirl, because I presume the cameo is going to be small, so they could very well just shoot inside and we're never going to see her actually in the Superman film until the film comes out, because they definitely want to keep it under wraps. They've continuously denied that she is in the film, but I think it's pretty clear why they cast her so early. So the next question is in regards to Superman, the film that James is currently filming. So someone says, I thought you were still filming. Is it part of the normal filming process to edit the film while still shooting? Is it to get a sense of how the film is coming together and compensate for things which are not working as intended? ? So that is what someone on Threads asked James Gunn. So basically, he is editing the film as he goes along. This is something that he explains right here. So when shooting a movie for 5 months, it's really normal to edit. I can pick up shots if I need, but more importantly, I can start turning shots over to VFX, so they'll be awesome by the time we lock the picture. Most films are put into theaters with subpar effects because edits were rushed. So I like this. I think James Gunn is definitely thinking ahead, because if he waits until they finish filming and then they're kind of rushed, because they're going to finish filming this summer and then they have like less than a year to turn it around and have VFX done, have sound effects done, have everything locked. So considering this is a long shoot and James doesn't want his VFX in Superman to be shoddy, because this is a major film in the kickstarting of this new DC universe, I think what he has chosen to do by editing as he goes along with whoever his editor is, it makes a lot of sense. So I'm very happy to hear this. Now let's move on to our second to last main topic. This comes from someone on Threads who asked, any news about Creature Commandos and the animation side? So this is a little update in regards to the first DCU project coming out. James's reply is, animatics and all recordings are done, waiting on the first animated cuts. So that is really good to hear. So that means that, you know, the animation is pretty much done. Now they've got to go ahead and like edit all the different bits and bobs in all the episodes. I don't remember exactly how many episodes there's going to be, but they got the recording, they got the animatics, so that means they're at a really good stage. If you guys don't remember, I believe it was announced that Creature Commandos would come out in the fall sometime, so that being like maybe October, November, maybe even September, but I think September is way too soon. So I'm going to say like October, November, you could probably expect Creature Commandos. So yeah, they're at a good point right now. I would expect to maybe hear about it around the time of San Diego Comic-Con. Maybe they're at a better stage. They can show a trailer or something a bit closer to the time when it's going to be released. But for now, it's at a good stage. It's just not ready to show anything yet. Okay, so the last thing is coming from Daniel RPK on Twitter. And he basically responded to someone who was asking James Gunn on Threads this. So besides Superman and Peacemaker Season 2, are there any other DCU projects that have scripts yet? So asking about scripts, not asking about like what's next in development. So James says yes. And the person replies, just Supergirl and Creature Commandos, right? And he says nope. And then he clarifies by saying meaning not only them. So he says yes, Supergirl and Creature Commandos are done, but there's other projects that are done too. There's other screenplays that have been written that are ready to go. Now, I don't know what this could be, but Daniel on Twitter, and he's fairly reliable. He is my friend online. He's helped out before. He responded by saying Waller and Green Lantern, I believe. So I think those two would be the projects that we are all thinking, because they're definitely closer than some of the other projects. We haven't heard much of Booster Gold yet, so it's probably not that. And obviously Daniel is not being like 100% imperative with the way that he is actually phrasing this, so he could be wrong, could be a different project. But the main thing here is it's good news. They've got quite a few screenplays in the bag, and they're probably ready to start going on a few of those. So that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It would really help this video out. Also subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future videos. And for now, you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see room.